The idea of preemptive strikes against Iran's nuclear facilities? Against Iran's nuclear facilities?
Well, I can't tell you that.
I
mean, it's a wonderful question, but how can am I going to do preemptive strikes? Why would I say that? Can you imagine if I said yes or no? You'd say, that was strange that he answered that way. Am I going to do preemptive strikes on Iran? Is that a serious question? How could I answer a question like that? Say it.
Would you be in support of Israeli strikes on Iran's nuclear
How could I
facilities?
tell you a thing like that now? It's just so, you don't talk about that before something may or may not happen. You know, just
So today, President-elect Trump held a press conference at Mar-a-Lago, and we will give you that full rundown and summary here today. A lot to talk about, right? Obviously, as usual, you have Trump going back and forth with the media. That is nothing new. That is just vintage Trump. But also, apparently, he is looking to potentially sue Ann Selzer for her ridiculous Iowa poll that had Kamala Harris winning. Trump is alleging fraud in that process of conducting that poll. But I actually want to start today's video by talking about the important things, because not a lot of people probably are mentioning this in the media. But today, Trump announced his first major economic accomplishment. We'll tell you what that is in a second. First, do us a big favor. Make sure you hit that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. You subscribing ensures we can keep bringing you these videos and this coverage. So make sure you hit that red button. And with that said, okay, so what are we talking about? Well, today at this very press conference, Trump announced that the CEO of Softbank, this is a Japanese foreign company, has agreed to invest $100 billion in the United States between now and 2029. So basically, under the Trump term, Softbank is going to be putting a bunch of money into our economy, and this is estimated to create approximately 100,000 new American jobs right here in this country. You love to see it. Here's Trump talking about that, as well as joking that he wants that investment to now be doubled to $200 billion. Check it out.
I'm excited to go, and we were discussing, and President Trump said, Masa, double that is not enough. Maybe, go for more, right?
That's what I'm going to ask him right now. Would you make it $200 billion instead of he can actually, believe it or not, he can actually afford to do that. Would you do that?
Well, my promise is 100, but he's now asking to do more. I think with your leadership, my partnership with you, with your support, I will try to make it happen.
That's good.
All right.
200. He'll make it happen. 200 billion investment.
He is a great negotiator.
He's a brilliant guy and did an unbelievable job, and the people of Japan and all over the world are very proud of him. They have tremendous respect for him. So when he does what he just did, and I would be surprised if it didn't go to 2. When you say you'll try, I know you'll do it.
I will really try.
So I have a proposal. Let's meet in the middle, right? Why not 150 billion? Let's do the sales tactic. They say 100, we say 200, 150. There it is. You have a deal, Mr. Japanese CEO. But no, in all seriousness, I'm so glad to see for once that instead of America constantly investing in foreign countries and getting nothing in return, how about other countries invest in us, right? Japan has a lot of successful companies. Why don't they come here and create jobs here? Right. And I'll tell you a quick story. So I was doing some research on this last night on tariffs, because I know Trump's been talking a lot about that recently. And this was as of 2018. But just as an example of how other countries rip us off and give us nothing in return. So do you know what the standard American tariff on a European car? So we're talking like a BMW that's being shipped into the United States. As of 2018, it was 2.5%. Do you know the average tariff that the EU puts on an American car? So let's say a Ford going over to Germany or something. The base EU tariff is 10%. And when you add in non-tariff barriers as well as the individual tariffs that countries put on, oftentimes you're looking at that tariff being as high as 30 to 40%. So we're basically, right, importing foreign cars, as just one example, foreign cars for free, basically no tariff, very minor, right? 2.5%. And meanwhile, these other countries are like taxing our cars so high that there's no chance that our cars can be competitive in those foreign markets. And of course, Japan does the same thing. Japan actually tariffs American cars way higher than the EU does.
When did we beat Japan at anything? They send their cars over by the millions. And what do? When was the last time you saw a Chevrolet in Tokyo? It doesn't exist, folks. They beat us all the time.
And this, guys, keep in mind, is all happening while we heavily subsidize and basically handle the military defense for Japan and Europe, right? So we have NATO, we basically subsidize all of the European military budgets. We kind of do it for them. We're defending them against Russia or whatever. We defend Japan against North Korea and China. And what do they do in response? Right? They're taxing our exports to them at ridiculous rates. Like, what is going on here? So I would say that, again, very glad to see for once, with all we do for foreign countries, why don't they come create jobs here? And secondly, Trump talks a lot about tariffing other countries. I think even a stronger negotiating tool may be to say to Japan, to Europe, some allies we have, by the way, let me just point out, no hate to Japan, but they haven't exactly been acting like it in the way prior to Trump they were handling their free trade and economic policies there. How about you lift all your tariffs on the United States, or we stop giving you military defense? You got to pick one or the other, right? I would guarantee you that if we said that to other countries, lift your tariffs or we're not going to be subsidizing your military anymore, what are they all going to say? They're all going to say, sorry, America, free trade it is. Trade all you want with us. We're going to actually make it good for your economy, not just our economy. Just saying. Okay, so anyways, again, glad to see it. You love to see it. Anyways, let's move on here. So there's the first Trump economic accomplishment. Again, 100,000 new jobs into this country, courtesy of that Japanese company. Now, here is Trump suggesting that he might be suing the Des Moines Register and Jay and Selzer over their ridiculous Iowa poll that showed Kamala Harris winning that state by 3 points. This was infamous copium for the Democrat side. Take a listen.
I'm going to be bringing one against the people in Iowa, their newspaper, which had a very, very good pollster who got me right all the time. And then just before the election, she said I was going to lose by 3 or 4 points. And it became the biggest story all over the world because I was going to win Iowa by 20 points. The farmers loved me and I loved the farmers. And it was interesting the way she did it. She brought it down 2 weeks before. She said I was going to only win by 4. That was a big story. But that was good because she brought it down from like 22 points to 4 or whatever the number was. Way up, an easy win. Never even thought to go there. I respect them. I love them. And they understand there's no reason to go there because she brought it from way up, walk away, which it was. And it turned out to be in the election too, by the way. It was a win by many, many points. And then she brought it down very smartly to 4 a couple of weeks before. And everyone said, wow, that's amazing. He's only up by 4 points. Then she brought it down to where I was down by 3 or 4, whatever number she used. And that was the Des Moines Register. And it was their parent. And in my opinion, it was fraud and it was election interference. She's gotten me right always. She's a very good pollster. She knows what she was doing. And she then quit before. And we'll probably be filing a major lawsuit against them today or tomorrow. We're filing one on 60 Minutes, you know about that, where they took Kamala's answer, which was a crazy answer, a horrible answer, and they took the whole answer out and they replaced it with something else she said.
So that would be kind of entertaining, objectively, for that to be how the Jay and Selzer arc ends, okay, with the Des Moines Register being sued. Now, I will say, in fairness, it's going to be up to Trump to actually prove that they were doing the poll maliciously, right? They were actually doing fraud and not just running a really bad poll. I think it's perfectly reasonable to suspect that was election interference going on. It was kind of a rigged poll from the beginning. But do you prove that in court? How do you prove that? I don't know. We'll have to see, right? But anyways, I'm just saying, but kind of funny to see and glad to see that Trump is now taking out his vengeance on Jay and Selzer, because the copium that gave to liberals was completely insane. Now, here is Trump talking about the drone situation, right? These mystery drones flying over New Jersey and stuff. And he says, and I quote, "The government knows exactly what's going on and they should tell the public." Check it out.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey ports? It seems like the American people have a big disconnect.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people, and they should, because the people are really, I mean, they happen to be over Bedminster.
Will you
Want to
shoot
know
them
the
down?
truth? They're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster. I've decided to cancel my trip.
Have you received an intelligence briefing on the drones?
I don't want to comment on that.
Well, yeah, I mean, they really should be telling the public what is going on, but transparency from the Biden administration, even when, you know, it's causing mass panic out there, and if it's something top secret that the military is doing, they're not exactly keeping it super secret, so why don't you? Okay, I don't know. But yeah, Trump is right, okay? You need to tell the public what's going on, because if the goal is to minimize panic, well, people are already panicking, so do something, like explain what's going on. But anyways, okay, moving on from that, now here is Trump talking about some of his cabinet picks. For instance, here were comments he made on RFK Jr., right? Robert F. Kennedy, saying that he's a very rational guy, fact-checking the liberal media. You're not going to be losing the polio vaccine, etc. Here's that clip, and then we'll talk about Trump defending his cabinet picks and talking about potentially primarying some Republican senators who decide to not vote for those cabinet picks.
Two quick questions. First, on vaccines, do you want RFK Jr. to revoke any vaccines?
No, I want him to come back with a report as to what he thinks. We're going to find out a lot. We're doing two things. We're going to have tremendous cost savings will come out of this. That's a minimum. And we're also going to have, and I think, very serious discussions about certain things, whether it's pesticides. Europe doesn't use pesticides, and yet they have a better mortality rate than we do. They don't use pesticides. In fact, they use it as an excuse not to take our farm product. We spend billions and billions of dollars on pesticides, and something bad's happening. Again, you take a look at autism today versus 20, 25 years ago. It's like not even believable. So we're going to have reports. No, nothing's going to happen very quickly. I think you're going to find that Bobby he's a very rational guy. I found him to be very rational. No, nothing. You're not going to lose the polio vaccine. That's not going to happen. I saw what happened with the polio. I have friends that were very much affected by that. I have friends from many years ago, and they have obviously they're still in not such good shape because of it. And many people died. And the moment they took that vaccine, it ended. Dr. Jonas Salk did a great job. So I don't anticipate that at all.
Oh, but I thought RFK Jr. was some type of lunatic who was going to ban all the vaccines. Yeah, it's almost as if that's not what's happening, and you just have pharma and the big food and all of those powerful industries in America scared that RFK is going to come in and try to reform certain things that are not good for the health of Americans. Okay, just saying. So what do? They immediately rush to call you some type of crazy anti-vaxxer as muddying the water, so that way, no one believes you. Luckily, it's not worked. Okay, it's not worked, because it turns out a lot of Americans, more than you would think, kind of are open to the idea that, I don't know, maybe Big Pharma is not totally honest with us. Maybe Big Food is not completely honest with us. But anyways, as you may know, There's a lot of talk currently that certain Trump cabinet picks may not be confirmed, or the Rhino Republicans are going to try to block that. Here was Trump's comment on what may happen to these Republican senators if they decide to just be petty and idiotic.
Should senators who oppose your nominees, your cabinet nominees, should they be primaried?
If they are unreasonable, I'll give you a different answer, an answer that you'll be shocked to hear. If they're unreasonable, if they're opposing somebody for political reasons or stupid reasons, I would say has nothing to do with me. I would say they probably would be primary. But if they're reasonable, fair, and really disagree with something or somebody, I can see that happening. But I do believe that if they're I think we have great people. I think we have a great group of people. Pam has been unbelievably received. You take a look, Pam Bondi. So many have been just unbelievably received. I think Pete Hegseth is making tremendous strides over the last week. He's going to be great. Look, he went to Princeton, he went to Harvard, he was a great student there, but he really was, from the first day I met him, all he wanted to talk about was military.
Yeah, so you can see there from Trump kind of a diplomatic answer, but still, so that way he could still try to play the politics here, but also says, yeah, they might be primaried and it might not even come from me. It might come from the voters themselves. Just saying. All right, keep that in mind. But anyways, with that said, guys, there's basically the summary, some of the biggest or most important moments of the Trump press conference today. I hope that opening clip about, the investment in the United States, really in a fair and good media environment, that should be story number one. Let me guess. Will it be story number one? Absolutely not. But, you know how it goes. Okay, the important things never actually matter. But with that said, let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new, and until next time, God bless and peace.